In this section, we're going to learn to solve linear equations. So in example 1, they want us to solve and check. Now, I typically tell my students to do letters to the left and numbers to the right. That way, when you get to inequalities, it makes them easier to do, easier to graph, that is. So let's look at this. We've got a 2x on the left. We do have a number here, a positive 3. We are going to move that constant term to the other side. If they added 3, to move it, we are going to subtract 3. So then this will cancel, and we're left with 2x equals 17 minus 3 is 14. Now we need to move the 2. We want to get that letter all by itself. So to get rid of the 2, if they multiply by 2, we do the opposite. The inverse is divide by 2. Okay, 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we end up with x equals 14 divided by 2 is 7. Now, if you take the 7, because we're going to try the check part, take the 7 and plug it back into the original equation, it should make it true. So if I do 2 times 7, since we said that x was 7, plus 3, I should get 17. That's 14. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 3 is equal to 17. So it does check, and we know it works. You can check your answers on this one. Let's try another one. Example 2. Now on this one, we have a little bit more work to do. We have to clear some parentheses here. So I need to distribute. I'm going to do 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. And then I'm going to bring down negative 5x equals negative 5. Now before I do anything else, I know I want my letters on the left, but I can combine some terms here. 2x minus 5x, those are on the same side, so I can add them together. I get negative 3x minus 8 equals negative 5. Now I have my letters on the left. What I need to do now is to get my numbers on the right. So I'm going to take this 8, if they subtracted it, the inverse of that would be to add it to both sides. So I end up with negative 3x equals positive 3. And the last thing I have to move is that negative 3. If they multiply by negative 3, the inverse of that would be to divide by negative 3, and x will be equal to negative 1. Now remember, you can check that answer. Let's go over here and check it. If I plug in negative 1 everywhere I see an x, I get 2 times negative 1 minus 4 minus 5 times negative 1. Okay, so negative 1 minus 4, let's do parentheses first. That's going to be 2 times negative 5 there, minus 5 times negative 1. Okay, now remember we do multiplication next. That's the next thing in the steps. So let's do multiplication here. That's going to give me negative 10. Negative 5 times negative 1 is a positive 5. And the very last thing I do is add those together. And that gives me a negative 5. That's just following order of operations, so we know it worked. And negative 1 would be our answer. In the next video, we'll do a couple more that are